Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another R&R video, reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing in the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. Before I get into the 6 games I'm going to be talking about this week, I'm going to say a few things about the other games that I've reviewed before that I was also playing this week. I played a lot of The Crew, which I play pretty regularly. I was playing with a new group of people this time. We played a bunch of that. Absolutely wonderful game. Love it. I played Lost Cities, this 2-player Reiner Knizia game. I played Silver and Gold, a good little flip and write game. I played Res Arcana. I tried this solitaire mode, a fan-made solitaire mode from BGG this week, which worked out pretty good. And I also played an Unlock Escape Adventures scenario with a friend, which those are always fun to do. With that being said, let's get into the first of our 6 games this week with The Hunger. The Hunger is a deck building game mixed with a sort of racing mechanic, much like the critically acclaimed Clank. In this vampire-themed game, players will start out at their castle and move out onto the game board, hunting down humans and adding them to their decks for points. Each turn, you draw 3 cards from your deck, which on the top left will be a number. Add up all the numbers from those cards, and that will be how far you can move and or use for buying powers to add cards to your deck, along with some special powers that each card will get. So you will move however far along the path you want, and anything left over you can use to buy cards. The cards to buy consist of vampires and humans. Vampires will generally improve your deck, and humans will make it worse, but will be worth points at the end of the game. So it is a very interesting balancing act of you trying to buy vampires to help you, but also getting humans to feed on, which will hurt your deck. I can't say I've played a deck building game where you buy tons and tons of cards that actually make your deck worse than better. All players want to make it back to the castle, or at least to the cemetery by the 15th round, or they burn up in the sun and actually score 0 points. I thought I would like this game because of the theme and the cute art, but this game gets a 6 rating from me. It felt pretty fiddly at times, especially that there is a constantly changing turn order, depending on whoever is furthest away from the castle goes first for that round. Overall, I don't see me ever pulling this out over other deck building racing games like Clank, Quest for El Dorado, or Summer Camp even. Let's keep it moving with our second game, Explorers of the North Sea. Explorers of the North Sea is an action point pick up and deliver game that is part of the North Sea trilogy. On a player's turn, they will place one of their tiles next to an already placed tile, expanding the game board. After, they can perform 4 actions, which include moving their boat or Vikings on the board, loading or unloading their boat, transporting livestock, constructing outposts. So basically, you will just be moving around this game board, bringing back livestock, raiding settlements, fighting enemy ships on the water, and constructing outposts in order to gain area control of islands. This is much simpler of a game than I was anticipating it to be, as I am very familiar with Shem Phillips' other games, and I had been putting this one off because I thought it was going to disappoint me compared to his other games. But this is going to get a 7 rating from me, as I really thought it was a very strategic game for how simplistic and smooth this game works, and I'm quite happy with this game in my collection. Going to the small card game now of Marvel Mayhem. Marvel Mayhem is a rethemed version of Dungeon Mayhem. In Marvel Mayhem, players take control of one of 4 superheroes available to play. The hero will come with a unique deck to them, and this is a battling game where the last player alive wins. Each player starts with 10 health and 3 cards. At the start of every turn, a player draws a card and then plays a card from their hand. The actions are very simple. There are attacks, healing, shields, and draw another card and play another card. Last player standing wins. I rate this game a 7. My son and I have played tons and tons of Dungeon Mayhem the last few years, and this is the exact same game, so we like it, and we are Marvel fans, so it was nice to see the system get a Marvel theme. This game, or Dungeon Mayhem, gets a very high recommendation from me for anyone with small children in their home, and actually my adult gaming group enjoys it just as much. Now on to the controversial game of Tapestry. Tapestry is a Stonemaier game designed by Jamie Stegmaier. This is a civilization building game about moving up 4 tracks that will give you increasingly powerful actions. On your turn, you do one of 2 things. You will either pay resources to move up one of the tracks and take those actions, or you can take an income action, which will put you into the next era, and once you have played 5 eras, your game is over. Players will finish eras and even the game most likely on different turns. Your actions will range from exploring and conquering new lands, taking buildings off your player board and filling up your civilization board, gaining new techs, and just generally improving your civilization as a whole. Each era you will play a new Tapestry card, which will give you either an immediate benefit or some kind of ongoing effect for that era. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. I'm giving Tapestry an 8 rating, and it is a Stonemaier game, so audiences are of course split on it, but I really enjoy this game and is full of interesting choices, and each game will be different because of many different civilizations you can play as, which will give you special abilities and kind of point you in a strategy you may want to take for that game. And those different civilizations are the point of contention for a lot of people for this game, claiming they are imbalanced. I don't really worry about that kind of stuff too much as long as I'm having fun, and in Tapestry I have fun. Moving on to a hyped game for 2021, Cascadia. Cascadia is a pretty light tile drafting and laying game. There's going to be 4 tiles, with terrain types and animals that can go on it in the general supply, and underneath each tile is going to be a wooden token with an animal on it. On your turn, you are going to take one of the sets of tiles and tokens and place them on your board. You want to connect the same terrain types together, which you will get points for at the end of the game, and you place your animal token on one of the tiles that allows that particular animal. Your animals will score for different things depending on which animal that is, such as you want 2 bears beside each other, which will score you so many points, or you want a bunch of different types of animals adjacent to the fox. Each animal will score in some way depending on how you place them. I surprisingly am going to rate this game an 8.5. This is a really light, simple teach of a game, but it has a lot of depth, and you have quite a lot to think about on your turn. I was not expecting to like this game anywhere near as much as I do, but would definitely be in my top 10 of games of 2021. And our last game of this week is Underwater Cities. I got my first play of Underwater Cities under my belt, so this is just my initial thoughts on this game, so take this with a grain of salt. Underwater Cities is this sort of hand management engine building game with some sort of worker placement in it. In this game, you'll be constructing these big cities underwater that are just large domes. You can construct different buildings around the cities like farms, laboratories, and desalination plants, which will give you resources on 3 different production phases of the game. You will use the resources to build more dome cities, tunnels to connect each city, and the buildings surrounding the cities. On your turn, you will play a card from your hand, which will let you go to different spots on the board and take that action. If you play the card of the same color of the spot, you get to take that spot's action along with whatever sort of action is on the card as well. Some cards, instead of giving you an instant action, will give you stuff during production, give you an ongoing ability, or will be an action card that can be activated at later times. A lot of people compare this game to Terraforming Mars, and I can see why the comparison is made. This is going to get an initial rating of 7 from me for that first game, so I liked it, thought it was good, but I wasn't completely blown away by it like some of my friends are. But maybe that rating will go up or even down after a few more plays, who knows? And that will wrap up this R&R video. We had some pretty big name games on here this week. Tapestry, which is a game I really liked. I think the game that a lot of people are going to be thinking about is The Hunger. And that's this newer game. And I can't lie, I was pretty disappointed with that game, even though I really liked the artwork, but I had pretty high expectations for it. Either way, let me know in the comments below what you think of some of these games this week. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.